Let's get you more detail on our leading story. The Labour Court has ordered Nehawu members to go back to work. The union's leadership says they will comply with the ruling while seeking legal assistance on their next course of action. The union is demanding a 10% salary hike, while government is offering 4.7%. Other unions, including the Health and Allied Workers Indaba Trade Union and the South African Policing Union, had earlier expressed their intention to join the strike. We take a look at the options of the labour unions. We're joined by labour law expert Andrew Levy. Andrew, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. Is there much wiggle room for unions who are seeking legal opinion on this matter?
Well, not having seen the court's judgment, I really can't answer that, but I think that probably no, not on the interdict itself, because it seems to me as if the issue is quite clear. So the first issue that arises, the first question is, will the members obey the interdict? And if they don't, and they've ignored them so far, what we then have is a gross act of contempt of court, and both the workers who are doing that themselves expose themselves to a criminal and possibly civil action, and also the union, which is one of the reasons why the union can't be seen to deviate from the order of the court. So that's the first question. Let's assume that there is orderly response and that work resumes. The question then arises, will the government actually bargain with them? And that's not quite clear, because in reality, we're looking at a claim which is 2 years old. And the government gave them unilaterally the increase, which it is entitled to do, and said that is that. So the next question is, well, will the government go back to the table? I would think that they probably will, for the simple reason that if the unions say, let's talk, then government would be unwise to refuse, even if their response in the talk is, we have no more money, and there it is. So that's what I would think would happen. The third question is there any chance at all that this union can succeed with a claim of 10%? And the answer to that is none whatsoever, absolutely none. And the reality is that the union knows that, and they are either just relaying the workers' demands who want 10%, in which case they have a responsibility to say to their members, guys, we can't get this. This is beyond us. Or alternatively, if they are flying and this figure of 10% in order to inflame people and make them want to strike, then again, I think that is somewhat irresponsible. And to go out on strike where there is such a great difference between the parties is really dubious strategy. The fourth issue is obviously the next move would be for either party or government itself to suggest that there is some conciliation, there is some mediation. And once again, if that's what they offer, I think the union would be foolish to turn it down, as would government. Do I have a great expectation that we'll get something out of it? Not particularly. And I think the overriding question everywhere is simply whether or not government will hold the line, whether they're going to say, there it is, that's the number, that's what we said, and we're not moving. And, if they do that, it would be a good ending, not from the union's point of view, but from public image, for the government's credibility in terms of the economics of the situation. And just finally, before coming back to you, I think we should remember that the public sector are the highest paid people in South Africa. So these are not people who earn paltry amounts. The median wage in the public sector is about 43 to 45,000 rand a month. That's a great deal of money when you think that the minimum wage, the national minimum wage, is a little bit over 4 going on 5. Now, all in all, even if you are a lower paid worker in the public sector, you're generally better off than your colleague in the private sector. So these are difficult times. The demand is unaffordable, and we just have to hope that sense prevails.
So you're saying essentially, Andrew, that never before have we seen a 10% agreement, never mind offer. And so we are also hearing from other unions, like the policing union, who came out today to say, well, they're going to be joining Nehawu on their strike. There's some military personnel that have been deployed to some areas, while government is also assessing the deaths of the 4 people, whether it's related to the strike, which is something that the unions also deny. Like you rightfully mentioned, again, here we sit 2 years later with this issue. What then is the way forward?
Well, I think really standard union negotiating tactics seems to be to have these openings which they themselves know are unsupported by the market, and they will not get, and then to use that as the basis for going on strike. Frankly, I don't think it is sound negotiating. I don't think it's in the interest of the members. And, if we talk about settlement levels, well, if you looked at 6.5% in the private sector, that might be feasible. One would expect government to settle lower than that. So I don't think we're far off. But the real problem that Nehawu and some of the other unions face right now is where to from here. And, once again, not all the workers in the police or possibly in the health service are essential workers, so they might carry on with their strike. But frankly, if government wished, it could use replacement labor, it could contract out services, and I think the strike would lose its sting. So I think that what must be foremost in Nehawu's mind is how do they climb down without losing face? And I think that is a very difficult thing for them to do.
Andrew, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. Labour law expert, Andrew Levy.